Top of the morning to you, stove minders. January 31st, 2021. The end of a blistering hot month in the MLB, Major League Baseball offseason. And if you thought things were cooling off with Trevor Bauer, the lone star player left available, the sudden seismic trade of Nolan Arenado from Colorado to St. Louis is still being digested. Saving that for another video. But first, a bunch of other moves that happened. None more prominent than the re-signing of shortstop Didi Gregorius by the Philadelphia Phillies for 2 years at $28 million total. I sort of buried the Phillies for the direction they've taken in recent years, but I want to be fair. The JT Realmuto episode had a clickbait title, okay, I'll admit it, calling it not a smart move. The point was, Realmuto is a great player, just not the type of players the Phillies needed to get right now. Bringing him back, and now Gregorius, maintains the status quo, which is that of an underachieving, middle-of-the-pack team that can't even make the postseason. Let's dial back a little bit, okay? Didi Gregorius was signed last winter, part of a wider rush by the Phillies to build a winner out of nothing. They swung that huge Gene Segura trade with the Seattle Mariners. Then you can also dial back to when they, of course, signed Bryce Harper to a 13-year, $330 million contract, and the Zach Wheeler deal, which was 5 years, $118 million for a high upside, but technically unproven kind of pitcher. And last winter, they signed Gregorius to a 1-year, $14 million contract, a sort of show-me deal, the same value in terms of salary as this new deal. And Gregorius showed up. He turned out to be one of their best hitters in 2020, bouncing back from a bad final year with the Yankees. Didi hit .284 in 2020, better than his 9-year career average of .265, while both his on-base and slugging were better than he's usually done. That said, the soon 32-year-old Dutchman has been an above-average hitter for most of the past 4 years. Gregorius is, small picture, a good player to bring back. Okay, he's a good player. However, considering some of the other needs in Philadelphia, like, a reliable outfield bat, given where Andrew McCutchen is at this point in his career, that is a so-so hitter, and the fact former first overall pick Mickey Moniak did not do well as a rookie, or what everyone's been saying, arms. Okay, the Phillies pitching staff is top-heavy. Aaron Nola is among the most underrated pitchers in the majors, okay, an ace. And Zach Wheeler, who the Phillies gave 5 years, $118 million, bigger than Realmuto's contract, you should note, last winter. He did very well in 2020. And Zach Eflin looks all right as a number 3 starter, but the Phillies lost Jake Arrieta to free agency, and the likes of Vince Velasquez and Spencer Howard are not good. Not to mention their compost bin of a bullpen, where, granted, the Phillies did add Archie Bradley, so a team payroll pushing $190 million plus, just $20 million or less below the cap. The Phillies decided to finally add a starting pitcher, Matt Moore. Matt Moore, lefty, 1 year, $3 million. You might remember about 10 years ago, Matt Moore was a top prospect, ranked number 1 by some outlets. But he has turned out to be a subpar starter over 9 big league seasons. He did have a good early run in his career with the Rays. Since 2015, though, Moore has an ERA of .522 and an ERA plus, or should I say minus, of 81. Yeah, he pitched just 10 innings in 2019 before going to Japan in 2020, where Moore had some good numbers with the Japan Series champions, the Fukuoka Hawks. Who knows, maybe he's one of those Asian renovations that keep coming back to the bigs. We shall see, though this could very well be a big, milky dud as the Phillies' number 4 or 5 starter. That's why they signed into a $3 million deal. Okay, not really an improvement over what they have now. Let's go to Cleveland, where the Indians signed Eddie Rosario to a 1-year, $8 million deal. A bit of a surprising addition for the Indians, whose big move of the offseason was finally trading Francisco Lindor and starting pitcher Carlos Carrasco to the New York Mets for 2 prospects and 2 new infielders. I thought maybe Cleveland accepted that they needed to tear down and start over, but no, they're going to keep doing what they usually do, spending very little and turning out an all-right team. They re-signed Cesar Hernandez, who was one of their best hitters, or one of their better hitters in 2020, and now Eddie Rosario, who has a chance for revenge in the AL Central. 29-year-old Puerto Rican has spent his whole 6-year career with the Minnesota Twins, who non-tendered him a few months ago, said, "We don't want you anymore, even though you're good. We can't afford you." And apparently the Cleveland Indians can. Weird world we live in. Rosario has a career OPS over 1,000 at Progressive Field, home of the Indians, where he played a decent amount as a visitor. So good news there for his upside. Career-wise, he's a .277 hitter at .478 slugging, a 109 OPS plus, 20 to 30 plus home run power. Rosario hates taking walks. He's a swinger, and he's been good at it. Something the Indians could use, given that they were bottom in the American League in home runs and bottom 5 in runs, hits, and batting average. Their pitching was good as usual, but they really need to improve at the plate. So a good ad at a good value for the poor Indians. Team Lux Tax payroll is under $62 million, the lowest in baseball. God damn it. Good news for Eddie Rosario, too. Maybe he can increase his value a year from now when he goes back to free agency. In 2021, he will be Cleveland's main left fielder, where he rates about average defensively. A blow for the Twins, his old team, unless top prospect Alex Kirilloff can crack the roster and do a little something, or else they have a hole to fill and some power to make up for. And you know what? I want to do a little bit of Cubscasting. Okay. I did not give new Cub Joc Pederson a proper welcome. Okay, sorry. From a management perspective, it's a little silly that they let Schwarber go only to sign basically the same type of player. But I'll be happy to see Joc in a Cubs uniform. This guy, he cranks, he hits tanks, he's got great power, great swing. He's going to become acquainted with Addison Ave pretty soon. His exuberance will fit nicely in the 6th hole after Javier Baez and Wilson Contreras. If you thought the Cubs dugout was annoying in 2020, just you wait. Welcome to Chicago, Joc. I mean, his name's Joc. Team Israel alumni. Great guy to have. Cubs also signed right-handed starting pitcher Trevor Williams to a 1-year, $2.5 million contract. Williams has spent his career with the Pirates, so Cubs fans may recognize him. He was good about 3 years ago, but lately, ERA in the 5s and 6s. Williams led the majors in home runs allowed with 15 last year. Cubs don't have a number 5 starter at all, so could be better, but I'm sure they'll sign someone else for a little competition. At worst, using the 28-year-old San Diego pitcher as a long reliever a la Tyler Chatwood. Staying in Chicago, the White Sox have re-signed left-handed starting pitcher Carlos Rodon to a 1-year, $3 million deal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first instance of a player re-signing to their old team after being non-tendered or bought out this winter. There were a lot of non-tenders as teams cut costs like it was nothing. Rodon hasn't quite lived up to the hype of his rookie year, 2015, or his billing, which was that of a 3rd overall pick back in 2011. Call him a bust? You could. In the 5 years after his rookie season, Rodon has looked pedestrian, a number 4 starter at best, and on this White Sox roster, he'll probably end up being their number 5 starter, with Giolito, Keuchel, and Lynn holding down the top 3, and plenty of young talent vying for the bottom 2 spots. So the 28-year-old will now have to fight for a spot in the rotation. And a quick hit to New York Mets left-handed relief pitcher Aaron Loup. 1 year, $3 million guaranteed. He's a 9-year vet. Yeah, Loup, he's all right. Low rider arm slot, gotta love it. Great work out of the Braves bullpen last season. Depth piece with upside for the Mets. Their relief corps now looks a little more stable with Loup, Trevor May, who they added, and a few guys they got from the Blue Jays in the Steven Matz trade, plus obviously Betances, Familia, and Edwin Diaz. And with time left, details have emerged on the structure of George Springer's 6-year, $150 million contract with the Toronto Dunedin Blue Jays. I speculated that the Jays would front-load this deal to take advantage of their current payroll and with the increasing salaries of their young core in mind. Indeed, the Blue Jays pulled a nasty little business move here. Okay? Springer will make $22 million in year 1, 2021, and then $22.5 million from years 3 through 6, 2023 to 2026. The only season where Springer will make more than his average annual value is 2022, when he's scheduled to earn $28 million. Remember, it's a $25 million a year if you average out the contract. That's a year that will be affected, if not outright canceled, due to the labor disputes. Strike, perhaps, slimy but smart on the Jays, and hey, Springer signed on the line. So we'll see what happens post December 1st, 2021. Doomsday in baseball.